Hi, my name's Alex Macmillan, the founder of Successw Moves Training and the developer and the key researcher for the course How to Scale Through Sales. It's something we've worked on for a long time. We also in the group have recruitment companies, so we've had a lot of information research fodder to actually make this work. Now, as a lot of companies try to scale through sales, building a sales team, that's their nature, depending on the type of product they are, and they fail for one reason or the other. Um, most businesses, startups, don't get to year two, and when they do get off the ground to micro business or very small business, they really struggle to get to the next level. And they have a product, they've got a market, they're actually selling them, and they struggle really to get to the next thing. So some companies want to stay small, of course. Some companies are small by nature, but some want to include far greater things, and it's to those people that I'm really addressing this video in this course and looking to actually help. We've done some fantastic research and got some secret sauce that's going to knock you out. It's going to make a big difference to your business, and we had a lot of aha moments after a lot of failed enterprises, ideas, things that we tried that didn't quite work, but we eventually got it right. I felt a bit like the guy who invented the light bulb, wasn't it? He had 1,000 attempts before he got the one that actually worked. You have to keep going. And that's what it's like in small business. Now, I can really leverage your time by saving you a lot of expensive mistakes and getting it right straight off. I mean, most fail when they're building a sales team. They pay basic salaries and only 1 in 5 makes it. That's very common. If it's happened to you, you're not you're not rare. That's actually quite common. And of course, the ones that don't make it cost a fortune in time, in basic salaries, in recruitment fees, and all the training that you have to give them to get them up, and then they drop out or they don't crack it and move on. That is actually a big failure. And we talk to people in our recruitment companies and they say, what's your sales plan? Oh, we want 3 salespeople over the next 3 years, one each year, because that's the way they've worked out the risk that they can take and how it would work. That's too slow for the sort of people we're looking at. Secondly, we have companies that think that commission is the same as a motivation scheme. It's an important part of it. They usually get it wrong, by the way. It's quite a complex story, getting remuneration right. We have lots of different formulas. 3 of them we invented ourselves to actually fit into this new working with remote and hybrid teams. We have a very basic and a flexi basic and a whole range of commission-based results before reward systems that actually saves cash flow and is self-funding, but that's all covered on the course. But it's specific to your company. Depending on what products you have, what services, what the sales cycle is, we need to look at that and make something very specific for you, and that's covered on the course. There's 10 key things that we go through, and we make sure there's a tick in each one. Then we know it'll all work perfectly. Then it's the time to actually recruit when you've got all of this infrastructure in place. Many companies fail to have a support, admin, and marketing team. They don't think that's serious. They don't really understand it. That needs to be put in place. Now, for a small firm, you don't have a lot of spare staff to manage this. So you really need to take advantage of various softwares, techniques, management methodologies to get some automation in there, some leverage to actually make it very efficient. And we also cover that on the course. So don't cut corners on lead generation. We have ways of self-funding lead generation, which again is covered. So to scale, you need a product that is scalable. You need something that will grow. It's in demand. If you've got sales now, it proves there's a market. Is there more of a market? Have you got that information? If you were on Sky News or Bloomberg or something tonight, would you have lots of calls tomorrow? If the answer is yes, then you can clearly scale. Leadership, you need clear leadership. And I can tell you've been involved in the recruitment industry for decades. The lack of leadership is the biggest reason people move companies. You think it's about salary? It isn't. That's well down the list, in fact. Yeah, leadership is the absolute key thing. And if you've got remotes and hybrids, that is multiplied by 10. So leadership is key, and it's a specific type of leadership for salespeople. And quite often we have technical leaders of companies that have got no knowledge of the sales and marketing arenas, and they tinker in and they have ideas like in the technology area, you pay top dollar to get the best people. That's not the way to do it in sales. It's a low range of things that you need to know about. So you need infrastructure, lead generation, admin, processes, which we'd already talked about. Um, and the whole sales process needs to be just that, a process. You need to put processes in place so that you can scale. It needs to be automated. What I often call the McDonaldization. You know, McDonald's is the world's biggest restaurant, but doesn't employ a single chef. So they've limited the skills needed to operate their restaurant business. And that's what you need to do with the sales. Instead of looking for sales superstars all the time, you need to actually put processes in that make some very average people very productive, and we'll teach you how to do that. Particularly with remotes and hybrids, the biggest problem with remotes is distraction. So you need what a quality manager would call a PDCA process in there to plan, to do, to check and act. So what are you doing each week, and then actually checking on what they're doing each week, reviewing it. But you usually find the biggest problem is not lack of talent or skills, it's actually distraction. Because the home alone and the distraction can come in there, and we tell you how to deal with that in a system that will self-automate, because you're not in touch with all of them. You're not seeing what they're all doing. So there's ways we've worked. How can we get around that? And we've got the answers. And what we're looking for is, ultimately we're working towards what we call a self-managing and a self-funding company. You never quite get there perfectly, but that's the goal of what we're doing for. So we're looking at leverage and automation to make your business get what it deserves, to get those products out there and to get cash flow coming in through those extra sales. That's what it's really all about. So research and led. We've actually led with commission-only recruitment for 15 years in our recruitment side.